You might have never understood a word I've said or anything I've written. This morning's guest says he can help. Stay tuned. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Redline Power Sports on Highway 501 in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on the Understanding Corporation, and we're visiting with Larry Amick, its co-founder. Good morning, Larry.
Very good to be here.
Thank you so much for coming in. This is so exciting.
It's early, too.
It is. 7 a.m. It's tough for a lot of folks. We got a lot of viewers who are getting ready to get folks off to school or obviously getting ready to get off to work, and we're here all dressed up in an ATV dealer. They're obviously going strong in the morning. What about this place? It's amazing.
Amazing place.
Did you walk around a little bit before we started?
I rode around on one of the ATVs.
Is that right?
It was fabulous.
Really getting it right. Now,
That's a great place.
It is amazing. Just walking around and getting a sense of the whole. Folks have to get out here just to see what it's like.
It's special.
Thanks again for coming in. And obviously last Thursday night, you were down for the ICE Awards, the ceremony at the House of Blues, which I saw Understanding Corporation was the presenting sponsor. That's a big deal.
We were proud to present that. It was a wonderful, wonderful event.
A series, those 20 winners, you know, they had the 10 individuals and the 10 business winners, and to know that folks came in from all over, there was a lot of fanfare leading up to it, and obviously having you down, and it was tremendous having you here.
We were pleased to do it.
Absolutely. Real quick about yourself, Larry, are you originally from the area?
From Burlington, North Carolina. I grew up there. Went to High Point College, now High Point University initially. Went in the Army for 3 years during the Vietnam time. Came back to graduate school at Duke, and then got a graduate degree from Carolina later on.
Is that right? What was the degree in?
Public administration. Undergraduate degrees are in science and math.
What was that like being in the Army during Vietnam?
I was pleasantly surprised to find I spent most of my time in Europe, and so I stayed away from Southeast Asia, but it was an exciting time where we all looked every day to see where our orders were going to take us.
You probably had friends, though, and classmates growing up in Burlington that ended up in Southeast Asia.
Many of my OCS class were over there, that's right. Some of them didn't make it, most of them did.
Golly, I'm sure that would be tough. And, of course, when you ended up getting the Master's in Public Administration, did you plan on was that a career path you thought about for a long time?
Well, I became a administrator, local government, so I was administrator in the city of Durham and finance director and director of administration for the city, but then went into consulting and private business, and I've been in private business the last 25 or 30 years.
Yes, Larry. Well, that's exciting. Of course, that set the stage for much of what we're talking about today, co-founding the Understanding Corporation. What a wild name. What is the Understanding Corporation?
Well, the co-founder of that is Dr. Lou Brown, who's at business school, Carolina, UNCG, Bryan School. And Lou and I, over the years, had worked together 30 years or more. And we found that the biggest problem in organizations, companies or government, is simply the ability for everyone to understand what you're trying to either communicate in writing or verbally to them. And that's a two-sided model, one of which people read and write either well or not so well, and in degrees in between. And on the other side, people prepare materials to deliver messages and communicate. So we found that the disconnect in that area of society was one that's dangerous, and so Understanding Corporation's mission and reality is straightening that out.
And you really think there is a big disconnect there, Larry?
It's a huge disconnect. Just a quick word about American literacy is at not an all-time low. I guess before the Pilgrims got here we were lower, but we're 54th in world literacy now as an adult population in the world. The average American now is reading at around the 7th and a half grade level. Actually, this has deteriorated over the last 50 or so years, and a lot cannot be done about that. Some of that is inherent, has to do with the quality of the ability of people to learn, but much of it is just simply setting the stage for what we do. which is to adjust the text and the communications that are going to people so that we can direct that properly to them so they can understand. Right. And so, in a way, we're adjusting the text and the messages as opposed in our company to adjusting the people. The people we're what we are.
Sure.
And so we're working with that raw material, although there's a lot of changing that can be done with people, and we're encouraging literacy, encouraging reading and writing skills. They are critical. Mm-hmm. And you may know, Greg, and the viewers may know, a change in literacy of around 15%. That's from any point on the scale, from 15% upward change in literacy doubles, multiplies times 2 the lifetime earnings of an individual.
No way. Wait. Say that again. You said a change in literacy
of 15%.
Positive change.
A positive change of, if you change downward by 15%, you can eliminate half of your future wages, but it doubles your wages for life if you're 15% higher anywhere on this. From the National Adult Literacy Test, which is given to all United States people every 10 years. This is from the 92 and the 2002 test. But it's very interesting that so smaller degrees of changes are immediately important too.
Right.
So it's very important for every viewer to have their children, grandchildren, to do everything you possibly can to increase literacy. Mm-hmm. That is the one variable that changes your life, and it's true across the board. The purpose of Understanding Corporation, though, is to assume that literacy is whatever it is in groups of people, but then to sort out the people that are at various literacy levels and then bring the materials to them, training manuals, procedures manuals, instruction manuals, any kind of reading and writing that has to go on. We want to bring it in at the adjusted level that these people can best understand it.
Yes, and that sounds critical. And of course, when you think about that ability, of course, to literally double your income over the years, not that that's something that Understanding Corporation is guaranteeing, but clearly the recognition that is was provided by a series of studies. The impact of changing literacy, just that small amount, 15%, could have a dramatic long-term impact.
Right, and business understands that, Greg. This year, 2007, U.S. business will spend between 3.5 and 5 billion, with a B, billion dollars, to improve the writing skills of the people that already work for them.
Right.
You're going to spend up to $5 billion this year in U.S. industry trying to improve the writing of the people that we've already hired.
No.
Understanding Corporation believes that it would be prudent to take a look at the people you are going to hire and be sure they've already got reading and writing skills that are above or at the levels you need. And secondly, to adjust your materials that you're using with the people that are in your workforce so that there are things that can be read and can be understood.
And Understanding Corporation provides these tools for companies.
Yes, it's right simple. It is just what you'd think it might be. We evaluate people, have a product that does that very quickly and easily online, so that within 1 or 2% you can tell exactly what reading and writing level the person is at the moment. Now, I say at the moment because reading and writing changes over time, so you need to check the people occasionally, every 2 or 3 years, because it does change. It's not like IQ, intelligence, which doesn't change. It is an achievement, an accomplishment that people build on, and it changes from time to time as they read and write more and write better. Mm-hmm. So these courses to help you read better, to help you write better, are all worthwhile, and you want to use those. We have the one product that evaluates then people.
And what's that called, Larry?
It's called LitMaster.
LitMaster.
LITMASTER, LitMaster. LitMaster measures people's reading and writing ability.
Right.
Secondly, the other product then analyzes text. Any document that's been written out, a speech that's been written, a communication of any kind in writing can be run through a computer system that will tell you within a flash of a second exactly what difficulty level the text is written at. And so when you match these people then with things they can read, they're done on the same scale, which is we call the UV scale, understanding value.
Understanding value
scale. So the people, if you think of a body of people, they'll get an understanding value. It'll be written on the same scale as the documents themselves. So the documents and the people then can be matched together, or the documents can be modified so that the people, that is the target audience, we call it the audience that is going to be receiving this communication, they're at a level of ability in reading, for example, that can comprehend that.
And the great thing is, I think you pointed out earlier before we started filming, Larry, that when you say the documents can be modified, they can be modified utilizing basic UC products.
Yeah, UC provides a toolbox of products within the product for text analysis. It's called TextMaster.
Right.
LitMaster for people, TextMaster for documents. TextMaster then allows you to take a document that's written at a too difficult a level,
right,
and bring it quickly down to the level that will be understood by people.
That is incredible, Larry.
So our product is understanding.
Right.
The product here is motorcycles and ATVs.
Sure, and jet
our product
skis,
is understanding.
That is incredible. I mean, you know, these basic steps that you're talking about are just that basic in a workplace environment and critical.
Now, what's critical, what's impressive about it is that it costs nothing essentially to do it.
Right.
A person can be tested for around $30. For a whole year of analyzing text and whatever, we charge like $35 or $40. So a person for 10 cents a day can be in business doing that immediately. It's delivered through the internet or delivered as a hard load program to your PC. But once the program's in your PC, TextMaster I'm talking about, and once a person is tested, then everything's easy from there.
So for around $30, someone can be tested to figure out what you call their understanding value score, what their level is.
Right.
And then for around $35, and I'm sure the prices fluctuate based off of how large the organization is,
right,
how many are ordered at a time, but around $35, you can then make sure the documents are addressed to that person's understanding value score.
That's correct, Greg. The interesting thing too is once you start doing it, you can't stop doing it because, and we're talking about communicating not just with employees, but communicating with your customers,
right?
Communicating with your vendors, communicating with your stockholders, communicating if it's a government organization with the citizens, with your taxpayers. There's a large movement in the U.S. Called the Plain English movement. And that's been going since the Reagan years, where they determined that government regulations were written at such a difficult level that citizens couldn't understand what they are. They couldn't read them.
Right.
And I saw an example in the Wall Street Journal the other day where a group in Oregon, a state government of Oregon, had sent out a tax notice to their citizens and were amazed that no one was responding to the tax notice. A lot of times you don't respond because you don't want to pay, but in this case it was an excise tax. It was a small amount of money.
Right.
They didn't get nothing. They went back and wrote this one-pager again in plain English using shorter sentences, more clear words, and were able to generate. They took half the people out of their help center, which was an 800 line that was answering questions. And they immediately doubled the weekly amount of money, $800,000 a week, coming in from the program, simply because the people, the citizens, understood what it was they were trying to do.
Golly.
So there's a lot of motion for that in government and in other organizations. But we believe that rather than struggling to train better reading and writing habits in your workforce, it would be better to, for example, if you have 5 applicants for a job, and we know already that the job requires this level of literacy.
Right.
We would immediately test the 5 applicants, 5 times $30. You would only fly in for interviews the 2 or 3 that were really the ones that could do the job.
Yes.
Instead of waiting 6 months, which we all used to do, to find out, well, this secretary we hired can't do this job, or this executive can't do that job,
right,
and then terminate the people, which is, by the way, the cost of a termination in the workforce today by ADP's latest number is 1.5 times annual earnings.
No.
That's what a mishire costs in a business. Now, that's at any level. A bank teller, a high-level executive, that's the average for the U.S. industry is 1.5 times annual earnings. So a $80,000 person mishires $120,000 hickey on that corporation.
That is incredible. I believe it. I mean, when you think about it, particularly because if they're incompetent, what they're trying to get across.